Hey, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to learn about Azure Virtual Networking. My name is Sushant Satish, and I'm your trainer for this AZ303 certification course. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. All right, so first learn about what is Azure Virtual Networking. The first thing you should think about isn't a virtual machine, it's the network. Virtual network or VNets are used in Azure to provide private connectivity between Azure Virtual Machine and other Azure services. VMs and services that are part of the same virtual network can access one another. By default, services outside the virtual network cannot connect to the services within the virtual network. So, what is Azure Virtual Network? Azure VNet is the fundamental building block for your private network in Azure. VNet enables many types of Azure resources, such as Azure Virtual Machines, to securely communicate with each other, the internet, and on premises network. And VNet is similar to a traditional network that you would operate in your own data center, but brings with it additional benefits of Azure infrastructure such as scale, availability, and isolation. So, before we dive deep into VNet, let's understand some virtual networking concepts. What is address space? When creating a VNet, you must specify a custom private IP address using public and private addresses. Azure assigns resources in a virtual network a private IP address from the address space that you assign. For example, if you deploy a VM in a VNet with the address space 10.0.0./16, the VM will be assigned a private IP like 10.0.0.4. Next one is subnets. The subnets enable you to segment the virtual network into one or more subnetworks and allocate a portion of the virtual network address space to each subnet. You can then deploy Azure resources in a specific subnet. Just like in a traditional network, subnets allow you to segment your VNet address space into segments that are appropriate for organization's internal network. This also improves address allocation efficiency, and you can secure resources within subnet using network security groups. Third one is regions. VNet is scoped to a single region or location. However, multiple virtual networks from different regions can be connected together using virtual network peering. You can also use a VPN gateway to send traffic between VNets. The last one is subscription. VNet is scoped to a subscription, and you can implement multiple virtual network within each Azure subscription and region. Let us look into some of the best practices for VNet. As you build your network in Azure, it is important to keep in mind the following universal design principles. Ensure non overlapping address spaces, and please make sure your VNet address space does not overlap with your organization's other network ranges. Another thing to keep in mind is your subnet should not cover the entire address space of the VNet. So please plan ahead and reserve some address space for the future. And it is recommended you have fewer large VNets than multiple small VNets. This will prevent management overhead. And finally, please secure your VNet by assigning Network Security Group or NSGs to the subnet beneath them. Now let's look into how you can communicate with the internet. All resources in a VNet can communicate outbound to the internet by default, and you can communicate inbound to a resource by assigning a public IP address or a public load balancer. You can also use public IP or public load balancer to manage your outbound connections as well. Please note that when using only an internal standard load balancer, outbound connectivity is not available until you define how you want outbound connections to work with an instance level public IP or public load balancer. Let's look at some of the ways Azure resources can communicate securely with each other. First, through a virtual network, you can deploy VMs and several other types of Azure resources to a virtual network, such as Azure App Service Environment, the Azure Kubernetes Service, and Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets. Another way is through a virtual network service endpoint. This will enable you to extend your virtual network private address space and the identity of your virtual network to Azure service resources such as Azure Storage Account and Azure SQL Database over a direct connection. Service endpoints allow you to secure your critical Azure service resources to only a virtual network. Third is through a VNet peering. You can connect virtual network to each other, enabling resources in either virtual network to communicate with each other. This is called VNet peering. The virtual network you connect can be in the same or different Azure region. The fourth method is through a private link. You can access Azure PaaS service, for example, Azure Storage or Azure SQL Database, and Azure hosted customer owned partner services over a private endpoint in a virtual network. Now that we have learned how Azure resources communicate within Azure, in this segment, let's learn about how you can communicate with your on-premises resources. First method is to use point-to-site virtual private network or P2S VPN connection. Point-to-site connection is established between a virtual network and a single computer in your network. Each computer that wants to establish connectivity with a virtual network must configure its connection. This connection type is great if you are just getting started with Azure or for developers because it requires little or no changes to your existing network. The communication between your computer and virtual network is sent through an encrypted tunnel over the internet. Next mechanism is site-to-site VPN or S2S VPN. Site-to-site VPN connection is established between your on-premises VPN device and an Azure VPN gateway. This is deployed in a virtual network. This connection type enables any on-premises resources that you authorize to access a virtual network. The communication between your on-premises VPN device and an Azure VPN gateway is sent through an encrypted tunnel over the internet. And the third type is through Azure Express Route. This is established between your network and Azure through an Azure Express Route partner. This connection is private and this traffic doesn't go over the internet. Another important thing we need to understand is how can you filter this network traffic when it flows through the internet or through the subnet? The first way to filter is by using Network Security Group or NSGs. Network Security Group and Application Security Group can contain multiple inbound and outbound security rules that enable you to filter traffic to and from resources by source and destination IP address, port, and protocol. Another mechanism you can use to filter traffic is to use Network Virtual Appliances or NVA. A Network Virtual Appliance is a VM that performs a network function such as a firewall, WAN optimization, or other network function. Just as important as we need to understand Azure network filtering, we need to understand how you can route your network traffic in Azure as well. Azure routes traffic between subnet, connected virtual network, on-premises network, and internet by default. But if you want to override, you can either use route tables or BGP. So what is route tables? You can create custom route tables with routes that control where traffic is routed for each subnet. Another way to route traffic in Azure is to use Border Gateway Protocol routes or BGP. So if you connect your virtual network to your on-premises network using an Azure VPN gateway or express route connection, you can propagate your on-premises BGP routes to your virtual networks. Now let's learn about integrating Azure services with your virtual network. Integrating Azure services to your Azure virtual network enables private access to your service from virtual machines or compute resources in virtual network. The first integration is to deploying dedicated instances of the service into a virtual network. The services can then be privately accessed within the virtual network and from an on premises network. The second method is using a private link to access privately a specified instance of a service from your virtual network and from on premises networks. And the third method is to use service endpoints. You can also access the service using public endpoints by extending a virtual network to the service through service endpoints. And these service endpoints allow service resources to be secured to the virtual network. That concludes this episode. In the next episode, we're going to learn about virtual network peering. So we'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.